You're listening to the Just Wins podcast, where we discuss winners, black bookers, and much more. Enjoy the show.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
But a champion becomes a legend! Makoni Debra's won it! The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.
To the 5th edition of the Just Wins podcast. We are doing the tips for the 30th of May 2020, and we have Adam on the line. How you going, Adam?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. And we've also got Lee. How you going, Lee?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. How did you go last week, Lee? We'll start with you.
Mate, it was just comedy of errors. Haunted was pretty poor, but was probably in the inferior ground on the inside. Miss Layla, not sure what happened there, probably come to the end of her prep, but she wasn't at all good. And then the astrologist, to finish off the day, was in the barrier stalls for 3 or 4 minutes while they were trying to load high-low, I think it was. And then he went off as soon as high-low got loaded, vetted, passed fit to run, and still ran third. So I'm pretty happy to stick on him. But, yeah, not the best day at all, mate, unfortunately.
Yeah, you would have been spewing the whole time if you're on astrologist early and had to cop that. And Flemington on the heavy just made it hard for everyone, and that's how the quaddie played in the end. Paid over 40 or 40 grand, something like that. But,
yeah, I think in Sydney it paid 100 and something thousand, 115 or something like that.
That's outrageous. Anyway, but you did have a good one in Belmont that's due for a win.
Float about, yeah. I think it'll be winning. Whether they keep it at 1600 or maybe try it out over a bit further. But the blinkers were good. I don't think anything run really well out in front at Belmont on Saturday from memory, and it led the whole way and stuck on along the rail, and the swoopers came late. So I think it's definitely one to follow.
Yep, we'll follow that in, and yeah, hopefully you're due this week and can perform miracles at Caulfield. But Adam, you're down at Randwick last week, and you only had the one bet in the end. How'd that go?
Yes, mate. But disappointing. We come second again. It seems the same old story every week. I was second or fourth. Miss Einstein, yeah, she just wasn't good enough, I feel. But probably is the best way to put it. Had her chance, but Opacity looks like quite a promising type. Just held her off. You could probably argue Collett was a little bit outridden by Bowman, but that's the way it goes sometimes. He, in my opinion, got its chance, just wasn't good enough. And then, yeah, the other one, as you said, was scratch, not an option. So just the one bet, 1 second, that's not what we want to see. So hopefully a bit better result this week.
Yeah, no, have you got more than one bet this week? That's what I want to know.
Well, I had 2 last week, mate, but this week I've got 3, so we'll be right. We'll be getting some winners.
Well, I'm glad you're pulling your finger out this week and having a real hard crack. But any horses to follow last week? I'd probably have to throw up the old Canane to the mix. What do you guys think?
Yeah, mate, I would agree. Canane obviously was a great run, and definitely not one to jump off yet. I'm pretty keen to see him next start in the Rough Habit. I feel he'll probably be winning that if he gets a better gate and gets a bit closer. Yeah, he's a potential star. Definitely still of that opinion with him. But the one I want to follow, actually, I don't really venture to Perth very often, but I was quite impressed by this horse Showmanship in its first preparation. It had obviously had some big problems since then. It had a year off, and it was first up for a year over 1,200 on the weekend. And yeah, Pike was aboard and really, really motored late to get up. I was quite taken by the win, and I feel going forward, if they can keep it sound out over a bit further as well, I feel that's a horse that can measure up to better grade.
Yeah, well, there must be some horse if it's taking your fancy in Perth. Eagle Eye spotting over in the west, but
no, I actually had it in the black book from its first preparation. It was super unlucky at its second start, and I was waiting forever for it to come out into a race again so I could back it. And yeah, I haven't seen it until the weekend, so yeah, and it won.
Yeah, well, that's good. And we've heard rumours Luke Dittman from your tips last week has struck gold, and he's been getting with the Waller camp as well. So on the upward spiral.
Had a good day on Wednesday, 2 from 2, both at each way prices. So yeah, as I said, I think he's one you can always follow and always back each way and get a return for your money.
Yeah, and I guess Lee brought up last week Django Freeman. That was quite a good run for an import, first up in Australia, probably not over its best distance.
Yeah, it was out sprinted at the mile and then it come again through the line, which is really good. And like I said, I wasn't sure if they're going to run it on the heavy, but they end up doing it. It's only got good track form over in Europe. So, yeah, I thought it was a really good run.
And anything else from you, Lee, that you saw on the weekend?
Yeah, I had a few. I was actually going to mention Showmanship. Adzi stole that one.
Sorry.
All good. Now, the other one I wanted to mention was Blue Ocean, out to 2,000 metres for the first time and really came hard late behind a good one in Gamekeeper. I think Gamekeeper's a serious winner and look out for him over sort of six. I don't think 2,000 is go on a regular basis. I think 1,600, 1,800, if they can find some races around that, could be proven wrong. But I thought Blue Ocean was really good late. And then two from during the week, which will probably step up to Saturday class on Wednesday. One I already mentioned to you guys at Sale, Cherry Tour Tony, was really good from barrier 10, sat wide, and ran, I guess, probably 2 to their 1 over the, from 400 to 300 and put them away pretty quickly. Did a fair bit wrong, laid in, laid out, laid in. Did the lot, and then still won quite well on debut. So I think that's one to follow. And then there was another one from the Sunny Coast, Seratali, Tony Sears horse, who got back to last and looked like it was probably going to be pulled up, but then absolutely motored through the line over 1,000 metres. So they'll obviously be looking to get it out and trip. I think the leaders run 1-2 in that race, and she ran home along the rail. It was really, really good run. Last probably furlong was outstanding, and obviously Tony Sears can train. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think it can win a couple of good races moving forward as well.
Yeah, that's 3 good horses there to follow for everyone out there. And yeah, the Tony Sears camp, they get them going. Don't worry about that. But we've also got a couple of other horses going around this weekend that were horses to follow from the previous 2 weeks ago with Accelerates and Fit US, that 1 or 2 of them may make a mention later on in this edition. But I guess what we got to do is we got to go to Adam first at Rose Hill, and you've got the heavy 9 at the moment. Adam, how you going?
Yes, mate, I do agree with you with Fatou's this weekend. I'm not going to be tipping her because she's a bit short around the $1.60 mark, but yeah, keen to see her on her upward spiral. I think she'll be winning again. Heavy 9 at the moment, Rose Hill this weekend. The weather outlook showing cloudy weather with a small chance of showers. So we're definitely going to end up with a wet track. How wet, I'm not sure, but I'm feeling probably a soft 7 or 8, probably more so an 8. So that's what we're working on. The rail's out 6 metres from 1,400 to the winning post and out 4 metres the remainder. So as always with Rose Hill, I like to be up somewhere near the speed in the first half. So that's what I've looked for this weekend. There's quite a few horses going around this weekend, which I have tipped in the past. Things like Fatou's, as we've mentioned. Miss Einstein's going around again this weekend. I'm not coming into her again. There's True Detective, Aliferous. So quite a few to keep an eye on that we've tipped in the past. But I've gone away from them, and I've got 3 tips this week. My best bet comes up in race 1, and that is number 1, Anders, for the Mar and Eustace camp with Jay.
You're stealing Lee's tip, are you, mate?
I apologise, Lee. We all saw that win at Wyong. I know it was only a maiden there, but it got to lead and extremely impressive. Run quite good time because it was on a soft 6 as well. So I feel, again, it'll go forward. I'm pretty sure it can get to the lead, and yeah, I think it'll be too good for these. This colt actually cost $670,000 as a yearling by not a single doubt. He showed a hell of a lot of ability early. I think he won a trial there by like 8 lengths, and they were really hyping him up as a Magic Millions 2-year-old. Didn't quite measure up to that, but I feel that win last start might have been just what he needs to get his mind on the job. If you watch the replay, the jockey Ashley Morgan, he really kept him honest all the way to the line. He didn't let him have an easy time, so hopefully that leads to him being much more professional going forward and getting the job done for us this weekend at, I think, about $3 he is at the moment.
Yeah, he's $3 at the moment with Bet Easy, and we got J-Mac on board, and those Not a Single Doubts love the wet. So we're having 2 units on that, Adzi?
Yes, let's go 2 units on Anders.
Righto, and what do we got next?
In the next, this is my next best, okay, and that comes up in race 3, number 9, Sally's Day, for Gerald Ryan and Rachel King in the John Singleton colours. This filly ran behind Fatou's last start, who we all know well, and we've mentioned is coming up in a later race. She didn't have a hell of a lot of room, and she hit the line quite well for 3rd. I feel up to 1,200 is suitable. I feel the wet track is okay. She has won on a soft track in the past. She is by More Than Ready, which More Than Ready Progeny tend to get through the wet going. Good gait. I feel it can sit midfield or touch better. And this horse has a really good turn of foot if used appropriately. Okay, it doesn't have a long sprint, but if it's close enough and they get it clear nice and early at the right time, I feel it can put them away and hopefully win the race for us at around $4.20.
Yeah, we just $4.60 I've seen on the board, but
Well, that's a good price.
Yeah, and we'll have 1 unit on that, eh?
Yeah, 1 unit to win on Sally's Day. That's what I was looking at. And then my best value comes up in race 7, the feature race, the Lord Mayor's Cup, listed level over 2,000 metres. And that is number 15, Orlando, for Matt Smith and Kieran McAvoy. At first, when I looked at
he coming to Brisbane, mate?
He doesn't have a jockey on at Brisbane, so I'm assuming that it'll start in Sydney.
Right.
That's what I was working off. And yes, at first I saw the wide gate and I was a bit perturbed by the wide gate, but I looked into it a bit more, feel it can get across. If Rapido Chaparro starts, that one might challenge it for the lead, but I feel he can sit outside that. And yeah, he's just flying of late. Won that race at Doomben. I think it was at Doomben about 6 weeks ago. Really bolted in under Brad Stewart. And then last start, he ran a great second there, only beaten by another $1 late in the Gosford Cup. With that wide barrier too, as I said, there's not a lot of speed inside, only really Rapido Chaparro if it starts. But keep in mind too, the 2,000 metre start at Rose Hill, they get a good run to that turn there down the side straight. It's about 500 metres, so should have plenty of time to get across. Handles the wet. Kieran McAvoy sticks. As I said, it's been going really well. So I think at about $9 each way price, maybe half a unit each way, I think it'll be in the finish.
Yep, you were spot on. $9 and $3.20 for half a unit each way. That all from Rosehill, Adam?
That is all, thank you. Good luck to punters. Hope we can have a bit of luck this week.
All right, well, he's got 3 tips this weekend and he's looking to launch. Lee, at Caulfield, we got a soft 5 at the moment. Is that what it's going to be on Saturday?
I doubt it. There's no rain or cloud expected, so I'd say we'll be back on a good track, which is exciting down in Melbourne. So rail out 9 metres at Caulfield. I've done a fair bit of study this week, watching races right back until 2018 to see or how it plays. Yeah, I need a couple of winners, mate, for the fallers. So put in the work.
Committed, punters. He's committed.
So I had quite a look, and there was a couple of things that intrigued me. But essentially, what you need to be at Caulfield is within probably maximum 4 lengths at the top of the straight. If you're going to be any winning hope. As that's where most of the sort of winners have come from. But even more so with the rail at 9 metres, anything really under 2,000 metres, you need to be probably even 2 or 3 lengths. So that's where I'm looking on Saturday. I've got 3 tips. So the first one is in race 1. We're going to lead off in the opener, number 11, Island Joy. It's at $5 at the moment, or $4.80 or something around that mark. Really good first up. Steps out to 1,100 at the Caulfield track, which is spot on for it, and I'll tell you why. With the rail at 9 metres, the best barrier is actually number 2. She has barrier 1, which is pretty much exactly where you need to be. And you need to be top 4 in the run to really be any chance over the 1,100, especially early on in the day, as the track hasn't really chopped up or anything yet. So I think she'll get exactly that. She should either lead or sit one back on the fence from the gate. She was extremely good winning on debut. She got a bump coming out of the barrier and was pratted 3 wide and stayed there the trip up on speed. And when she hit top gear, she put him away pretty well. And she did a few things wrong as well, later in a bit in the straight and was looking around a little bit. So she's got plenty of improvement to come, but she did enough to suggest that she can put this field away. And the form was also good around the runner-up from that race, who was beaten the start prior by Mortal Love, who's come out since and won by 3.5 Flemington. So she should get the best run, the 1,100 at Caulfield, and has plenty of upside. So I'm pretty confident in backing her, even though I usually don't back in 2-year-old races.
Yeah, that's race 1, Island Joy, and Bet365 is offering $5.50. So just the 1 unit there.
Yeah, mate, please. 1
unit. We'll be backing it in like that truck is in. You can hear out the back there.
The joys of living across the road from a shopping centre, eh? But
yeah.
all right, On to the next, and we've got race 4, number 2, Liberate. She's at about $8 each way at the moment, and looks like another one that will just get a perfect run from the gate. Has turned into a real winner the last couple, run 2 on the trot now, run 3 of her last 6. And was brave last start, sitting 3 wide with cover, the trip, and over race the touch as well. There was a wall coming out of the last 100, but she just kept finding, which I think is really good. And like I said, she wasn't much of a winner previously. I think she's got 4 seconds or something like that on the record, which tells me that she's, like I said, developed into a bit of a winner. She just kept finding. She could have easily sort of given up over the last furlong, but kept putting in, which is a really good. The form is pretty good out of the race as well. November Dreaming ran 5th on that occasion. Since come out and they raced her upside down, she's still stuck on for a good third behind Gamekeeper, who we've already spoken about earlier. From barrier 4 on Saturday, Liberate should sit either outside the lead, in my opinion, or probably 1-1. I think she'll be able to get a better run this time in. For last start, she was drawn in barrier 10, so just a bit unlucky that she was pratted 3 wide, but that's what happens when you got barrier 10 of, I think, 13 runners or something. So should get a much better run, and like I said, be up outside the lead or sitting 1-1. There's not a whole heap of pace in it, and that's exactly where you sort of need to be at Caulfield over the 1600. Sorry, she's up and fit, and sticking the 1600 is also a big plus as well. I just think $8 is overs. I looked at the fields on Tuesday before acceptances were final, and I thought she was going to start favourite, but she's opened up at $8, so pretty confident in her at an each way price.
Yeah, she's $8.50 and $2.80, and what do we have in 1 unit each way or 0.5?
No, 1 unit each way on that, mate.
What do you got next?
Last selection, mate, out to race 8. I don't know how I feel about tipping this guy, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's number 12, Jumbo Ozaki, $4. He's another one that just has turned a bit of a corner recently. This sort of prep, he's become a bit of a winner. I think first up, second up, he won at Flemington, and he looked all but gone as about a $2 favourite. And he was backed in hard on that day as well. But just got there, and then last start looked like a real winner. So I'm happy to tip him this time. As I said, he's won 2 of his last 4 starts, which is good. And last start was really impressive, probably his best win to date with opposition-wise and how we did it as well. So at this track and trip, he was last start as well, virtually from the same draw. He was drawn in barrier 5 on Saturday, he's drawn in barrier 2. He got a sweet run just in behind the speeds, that sort of 4th and 5th on the rail. When asked to go, he really lengthened, which is good. And a bunch of horses came out. There's pretty much there's 3 or 4 chasing him over the last furlong, and he just didn't switch off, which is what he's commonly done in the past, which is a really good sign. That form's also been trumped with Sikorsky winning. And I've just made a note that he's 6 weeks between runs, and a lot of people probably see that and go off him. That Flemington run I spoke about just earlier, that was off a 6-week break, and his last win was also off a 3-week break as well. So he likes some space between his runs. Obviously likes it a bit fresh, and with not a lot of speed in this race, I think he should be up behind the speed and get a perfect run from barrier 2, and with an even bit of luck, it'll be off the fence and be winning.
So the 1 unit on that, Lee?
Yes, thank you.
No problems. Thank you very much, Lee. And we will go to Doomben on the weekend, which is the rails and the true. There's no rain forecast, so it'll probably be a good 4 up here. You obviously want to be closer to the speed. However, a lot of these races will be tempo related. Big fields, different form lines. It's going to be a pretty tough day for punters, but if you can jag 1 or 2, you'll be in front. You've also got both Got a Kiss and Vanna Girl running again after winning for us in their previous starts. But it's of note that both of them need a bit of luck and they're a touch short in price. But let's go to our first bet. I don't have a best bet this week. I've just got 3 bets there. Well, actually 4, but we'll go the first one in race 2. Top Prospect is at $5. He'll be starting shorter. Star of Michelin will get scratched just because he just doesn't have a jockey at the moment. This bloke was an eye catcher last run behind Grand Piano, who's an $8 chance in the Fred Best Classic later in the day. Gets onto the slicker surface today after copping some heavies down south, which he goes okay in, but obviously wants it on top of the ground a bit more. Chris Lees knows when to bring him up here, and I even think they might even push to the lead because he has done that in the past. He should be in it for a long way, and after that scratching, he might be $4. $3.50, something like that. But at the moment, he's $5, and you'll have to cop the deductions. Our next bet is in race 4, and I'm going against Got a Kiss. I just thought Got a Kiss is just a touch short. Even though she's won for us previously and draws gate 1, I just thought where she was, we could probably look around, but see how we go. But I think there'll be plenty of speed engaged in this race. Bellevue Star will likely roll forward, and also there's a few roughies they'll do the same thing and try and put themselves in the race. I really liked September Run's previous race. She got rolled on the line in a head bob, was held up in the straight, steadied, and really launched through the gap when it appeared. To me, that's a great trait for a young horse, and I think especially on this tight Doomben track, she's going to be very tactile around those bends. They'll likely settle midfield, and from barrier 5 can either elect to be on the fence or off it. And I think at $8.50 and $2.75, I want 0.75 of a unit each way. I think that's the better play than taking the shorts on Got a Kiss. We go to race 9, and this is my value bet. I'm tipping Madame Rouge at $14 and $4.20 for half a unit each way. Subpoena will most likely come out, another one, so you'll cop some deductions, and Madame Rouge will probably be still $12, $13, I imagine. She finally gets a wet track. This sounds very similar to Top Prospect above. Copped it 3 goes in a row on the soft and heavies, and they're all in Group 1s or 2s. She enjoys running in Queensland, and she was sent up here off a very cold trial in Sydney, very hard held, just doing her thing, very, very Waller-like. Ran second in this race last year behind Multaja. She's drawn a touch tricky, I'll give you that, but however, I trust Maloney to find a spot midfield, one off, or maybe touch closer. At that price, double figures, back sharply grade, she's worth an each way ticket. I guess my next tip, we've got to get into our Group 1 banter, and we don't have Group 1 this week, but we've got the Fred Betts Classic. And I did a little bit of digging. I didn't go back as much as Lee did on his previous tips. I noticed in this race, local horses haven't fared well over the previous years, with Nick Nova being the only Queensland trade winner since 2011. So the Southerners have really had it over us. Dawn Passage is following the same Hawkesbury, Scone Giddings form line that Military Zone used last year. For me, I think the strong pace will be pretty hectic out in front with Stampy, the Odyssey, and possibly Scathing pushing across. And over 13.50, even though I think a couple of them can run 13.50 off that quick tempo, I think over the final furlong, this race will change complexion immensely. I'm going to stick with Dawn Passage at $2.60. I'll have a unit on her. I can tie its form lines in with Rocket Clock and St. Covert Spirit, and I think he's about 1 to 2 lengths superior to Subpoena. But importantly, his racing style will suit the Doomben Ben more than others such as Exhilarates, who we highlighted last week. I think he can sit a bit closer, and Waterhouse can get this one over the line and into the Stradbroke next week. What do you think about that, boys?
I'm in agreement, mate. All over Dawn Passage myself as well. I think he's just the best horse in the race. Obviously, Exhilarates is good last start. Just not sure where she'll get in the run. It's a bit of a tricky gate for her, drawn in 4, whereas Dawn Passage just gets a bit of breathing room to be able to get to the outside with, like you said, pretty hot tempo up front. And his win last start was really, really good. So I'm happy to back Dawn Passage as well, mate.
You'll have a bet as well. What about you, Adam?
Oh, I do agree with you guys, Dawn Passage. I wasn't keen to have a bet though, and just purely for banter, I'll go against you guys, and I'll tip Grand Piano, bit of value just for the chat.
Just for the chat. Well,
yeah.
Well, if Grand Piano gets up, then surely Top Prospect gets up as well.
That's a good point too, mate. So we can hopefully take a bit of confidence through that earlier in the day.
Lord of the Sky, mate, not having a bet. Old P Hard Adsy.
Oh no, I'm not interested. I'm a Sydney expert, mate. I'm not gonna step outside that this week at least.
Well, speaking of stepping outside, have we got any for around the grounds? I'm expecting no, Adam.
No, nothing, mate. I'm happy with my 3. I'm confident we can get the job done with the 3 at Rosehill.
He's always short and sharp, that Adsy. But what about Lee? I reckon he's got one.
Yeah, I've got an all up, mate. And it's an old favourite Perth. I'm going to stick on one that I've tipped a few times and got the chocolate star start, but the other one. So in race 4 is the first horse, number 2, Windstorm. He's a distant relation to Superstorm. Their mothers are out of the same father, so Metal Storm. It won both his starts, was really impressive in his trial, coming back for this today. Crazily, there's chat about him after 2 starts for the Kingston Town. Just looks a really good horse. Like, can't believe his first up win, first go at the track, and had 60 kilos in a 3-year-old No Metro win race and won well, and then come out next start and won as well. So he's a very serious prospect. He can win some really good races, whether it's Kingston Town or not, whether it's this year or not. He'll be winning some really good races in future. So we can get on Windstorm. And then next, race 5, my old favourite, Miss Frost. This is, again, seems the right race for her. Bit of pace on up front. She's drawn to stay out of trouble early, which is good. She'll get back and be running on again. And with Pikey sticking, I'm pretty confident that she can be winning again. So we should get about $4.30 or something for that all up.
Yeah, we got race 4 Windstorm $1.65 and race 5 Miss Frost at $2.70. Yeah, probably $4.20, $4.30, something like that. Anything else, mate?
No, that's it for me.
That's it for Lee. Lee's usually on the ball out in Perth, and he has been in previous weeks, so hopefully Miss Frost does the job again. I've got nothing around the grounds this week. Sticking to Doomben. Let's finally hit some home runs, boys, and put the followers in front again. Thanks for all the followers during the week giving me a shout out, and how good's having the footy back on. Thanks again, boys, and good luck on the punt this week.
Thanks, mate. Good luck.
All right. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and get involved in the comments. Best of luck and happy punting.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
But a champion becomes a legend. McCarthy Dever has won it. The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.